Hey guys, okay, so I thought I would do an updated 2018 twist out routine for you guys. So I have done several in the past. I think the last time I did one was about a year ago. You guys seem to really like that one. My routine for the most part is pretty much the same. There's just a couple things that I have tweaked a little bit that I thought I would kind of share with you guys. So that's what I'm doing in this video. I'm just kind of showing you guys yeah, the current twist out routine that I have. If you are new to my channel, then hey, welcome, hope you subscribe. But if you are familiar with my channel, you know that pretty much what I always do to my hair, my go-to all the time style, is a twist out. So like I said, I just have a couple things that I've tweaked a little bit to give me like more moisture and to give me more definition and less frizz and more volume. So that's what I'll be sharing with you guys in this video, so I hope you like it. Okay, so for the sake of time, I have already sectioned off my hair in the sections that I'm going to twist them in. Just in case you guys are curious, I washed my hair last night. When I wash it, I just do big twists in sections, like big tight twists in sections, so that it can kind of dry in a stretched state. And for my twist outs, I always like to do a combination of flat twist and then regular 2-strand twist. So I'll show you guys. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. So what I'll be doing is I'll be doing flat twists on these 2 sections, and then I'll be doing flat twists at the top because I just hate when it doesn't look uniform and totally curl from the roots down. These sections right here, it's not as important to make flat twists because it's just going to be hidden in the rest of the hair and it'll come out fine. I have already oiled my scalp with my Simplicity hair oil, which you guys know is a staple. And my hair care routine has been since I first started transitioning several years ago, and I've maintained using that within my hair care routine. My go-to products still are the Blueberry Bliss by Curls and the Kinky Curly. So those are the 2 that I'll go back and forth with if I just need to make sure my hair is gonna look right. I will make sure, as always, to list the products that I use down below, but I'm just going to quickly show you guys because there's 2 products. Oh yeah, other than oil on my scalp, I did spray some of this Jane Carter solution leave-in conditioner throughout each section as well. But for the actual twist, I'm going to have my water mixture and aloe vera, water and aloe vera mixture on hand like I always do in case I need to dampen it a little bit. And then, like I said, I'm going to use the Blueberry Bliss line. So I have the twist and shout cream, which I don't have a lot left. So we'll see how that works because I have a lot of hair. The reparative leave-in condition, the curl control jelly, and then the 2 products that I have added to my twist out routine are the, which I don't have a lot of that either. I'm gonna have to make that stretch too. I didn't realize that I was almost out of these products. So this is the Jane Carter Solution Natural Twist Out Foam. And then this is the Nourish and Shine. Yeah, it's called Nourish and Shine. It's basically just like a moisturizing balm. You can use it from head to toe. So, and then when I put all those products on it, I'm just going to coat each section with some Mielle Organics almond oil. And I also have my Felicia Leatherwood detangling brush. I have a soft brush. I have a rat tail comb for parting it, and then I have this comb too in case I just kind of want to gently comb out the ends. If you guys just kind of want to like a quick hair length check. Set. Oh, this is how long my hair is. Let me see. Since I've straightened it. I straightened it back in March. If you guys follow me, you would know that. But this is where it is. So I don't know if it's grown that much since then. It's kind of like, what is this? This bone underneath your boob? Your ribs? That's how long it is now. So this bottom layer, you want to make in about 4 sections. So I don't want the twist to be too big, but I don't want them to be too small either. You want to use a lot of product. I mean, I guess it depends on your hair texture. You kind of know what works for you, but my hair is really, really thick and it tends to dry out super easy. So I want to start off with a ton of product just so that that moisture can last as long as possible. And even though my hair is pretty much dry now, all these products going on it is gonna make it seem kind of wet. I'm going to spritz the ends a little bit, but I don't ever do my twists on wet hair because you get a ton more shrinkage when you have it on wet hair. I like to retain my length, and so I don't do it on wet hair. And I missed this step, but generally I would mix whatever cream I'm using and this Nourish and Shine, but I forgot to on this one section. It's not a big deal, but that just kind of saves time when you mix it in together. Definitely make sure you get those ends, especially since your hair is rubbing on your clothes throughout the day. I'm gonna spritz the ends just a little bit. I'm gonna get some of this foam. One pump is enough for each section. And I noticed with the foam, it just adds a lot more definition. And then I'm just gonna take some of this oil. Not too much, just a little bit. And coat each section. Now I'm just going to detangle it again, and just to make sure that all the products are evenly distributed through each section. And then I'm just going to put a tight twist. So like I said, I really love a lot of definition and minimal frizz. Another reason why I do it like this with the smaller sections now is because I realize that the least amount of separating, I had to think about how that would sound right, the least amount of separating that you do when you take your twist out obviously minimizes the amount of frizz that you'll have. So small sections I'll not only give you, a great amount of definition, but once you separate it, you'll only have to separate it maybe like once, as opposed to separating it a ton to get that definition or to get that volume. Because of small sections, it'll already be defined and voluminous. So I'm just going to do this throughout the whole bottom section, and this is basically what you guys are seeing me do right now. This is what I'm going to do for for these back two sections. These three. 1, 2, 3. This right here, what I'm doing is basically what I'm going to do for all three of those sections. And see, oops, that is the twist. And of course it's going to like shrink up as it dries, but this is basically the size you want to have. And this is also great if you are going to be rocking your twists, which I always do. I don't take my twists out unless I have to. The longer you leave your twists in, at least for me, the better they'll be, because for one, they'll be completely dry, which obviously you want your twist to always be completely dry. But then what I like to do is I'll just rock my twists in a bun, and that also makes it that also stretches it out a lot, which allows you to retain that length. But I will say, make sure that when you want to stretch your hair by putting it in a bun, make sure that you're doing it on completely dry hair. If you try to stretch your hair while it is still damp, then you're going to totally throw off the curl pattern that the twist is trying to achieve. Another thing I'll say too, which I think this happens with a lot of people that do wash and goes as well, is I feel like for me, my first day hair, once in a while my first day hair is really good, but oftentimes my first day hair when I initially take out my twist is not my favorite day. Like when I redo my twist that night, I won't sit there and redo it like this. I'll just like quickly redo each section, especially the front. But when I retwist my hair after that first day and then I take it out, I feel like the results are so much better. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the way the product just sits on your hair that first day, but once it's like, been out and I've been out and about and I retwisted that night, I definitely like it a lot better the following days. Honestly, with twist outs, you never ever know what you're gonna get. Even if you use all the same products, even if you do the exact same routine, at least like for my hair is always doing something different. It could be the weather, it could be anything, factors that I'm not even aware of, but my hair is always My hair's always changing, and then as it grows, it gets longer. Like, the results just always vary. I'll take my hair out and I'm like, I don't know what the heck to expect. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. It really just depends. If you guys have any of the issues that I mentioned with the top section of my hair when you do wash and goes, let me know, because I have been wanting to know how to do a wash and go in my hair for so long, but I just feel like my hair just might be a hair texture that is not able to do a wash and go. Another thing I'll notice too with my hair is that the right side of my hair tends to shrink up a lot, which is really weird. It like shrinks up more than the left side. So that's why I say, y'all, my hair, I never know what my hair is gonna look like. It's really just, what do you say? It's a surprise every time I do my hair how it's gonna look.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.
Okay, so this is the first section of my hair completed. If you guys can see that. I'm gonna do the same thing for these two sections. So I just showed you guys what I did. So I'm gonna go and do these two sections, and I'll come back and show you guys how I do the front section, because it's pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, I'm gonna do the same exact thing that I just did on this bottom section for these next 2 rows. So this back section is completed. You can see I have no idea how many twists I have, but you guys can get a good idea. These last 3 sections are the ones that are going to be flat twisted. I want you guys to see how my hair looks. So it looks like it's really wet, right? So that's why it's really not necessary to do your hair when it's soaking wet, because you're already going to have some shrinkage once the product you're using moisturizes your hair. So just think, if it's already shrunk up this much, my hair was down to, you can't even see, below my boobs when I stretch it out, and putting product in it, it shrinks up to here. So just imagine if you have water in it and the product in it. For one, it's going to take 10 times longer to dry, and then for 2, of course, you're going to have even more shrinkage. So that's why I think it's so important to just make sure your hair air dries all the way through. I mean, it could be a little bit damp because you don't want it to dry out, but make sure it air dries all the way through before you start to style it, so that you can retain as much length as possible. I didn't realize that my ring light wasn't on for that first twist, so I'll show you guys on this side what I did. I don't know how this has happened to you guys. It seems so weird that you wouldn't notice that this big light in front of you isn't on, but that's happened to me every once in a while, where I don't notice that my ring light isn't on. But it's like, how can you not see that light's not on? It's like I'm just not even paying attention, especially when you're in the zone, just kind of like doing your hair. Somehow I don't notice that the light's not on. So basically, what I had just said without the ring light on was that this top section that I have, I'm going to make into 3 separate sections and make them 3 flat twists. So basically, you're just doing that to make sure that your roots have definition and texture, as opposed to it being just a single strand twist where it's going to be like puffy at the top. This prevents it being puffy or looking loose or not defined. It just makes it kind of blend in seamlessly at the top, and then you have the single twist underneath.
I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust.
Okay, so those 3 twists at the top are done. Like I said, they don't have to be super perfect. You just basically want to do it to make sure that your top section has some definition. Because this side is so much thicker than this side, because we're doing a side part, you really want to be mindful of how you section this, because if you do the sections too big, obviously, it's not going to be as defined, but you don't want to do them too small either. So I like to start with the front section first, just to make sure that I make the twist the correct size. And this is also the part where I told you guys, for whatever reason, my hair is straighter at the top. You basically want to make sure you're getting this whole front section, so right before your ear. You want to make sure, this is just going to be a basic flat twist, but with a flat twist, you want to make sure that you start at the roots or at the very top, make sure that you're starting as close to the top of this hair section, if that makes sense, as possible, and split it in two. So I think there's a few things you want to keep in mind. For one, you want to make this tight, but you don't want to make it too tight, and you want to take your time and pick up the sections very carefully, because then it'll look messy, and when you take it out, it won't come out properly. Another thing is, find out which direction works best for your hair. So you can curl towards your face, or you can twist away from your face. So for me, I've realized that when I do these front sections, just based on how my curl pattern is, it comes out better when I curl, or I keep saying curl, when I twist it towards my face. So I'm just going to be very careful, take my time, and pick up each section piece by piece.
What's left? The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls.
I'm going to spray this end a little bit more. So like I mentioned to you guys, this top section of my hair, for whatever reason, is a very, very loose wave as opposed to a curl. So it's not going to curl up at the ends, and I'm going to have to do like a little, I forget what they're called, but like a little knot at the end so that it can get some type of shape. So I'm just going to twist that, but see, like it's super loose, and see how it's like, I don't know, it's like a lot, it's not thinner, but it looks a lot thinner because there's no curl. So basically I just twist it like that, and then I'm just gonna bring it up and twist it around the hair. Okay, so this is the knot, how it looks. And like I said, I basically just have to do that because my hair is not curled. It's like super loose. You can even see in the way the twist is that this texture is just super loose. But hopefully that was a good demonstration of how to do a flat twist. That is what I always do on my top section, just to make sure that it looks the best and has the most definition. So now I'm just going to continue to section this part off. I'm going to do it just like I did the front, and then when I get to the back piece, I'll show you guys what I do to make sure that the twists still come out defined. So I'm going to do this section just like I did this top one.
We'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Okay, so with this section, what I'm going to do is actually split it in two underneath, because I find that when I don't do that, the section ends up coming out too big and there's not much definition because it's so much thicker than the other side. So I'm basically going to take this section and do like, take this half section and do a flat twist underneath here. Now you may not have to split these two sections up if your hair is not as thick as mine, but if you do have really thick hair, then it definitely helps to split these sections up.
I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on
Have that little section there. And then I'm gonna take this section and make it a twist. I feel like I've been doing my hair for hours. I think I have. For y'all, luckily it's not going to be hours long of a video, but for me, I've literally been sitting in this bathroom for hours. Okay, so this side is finished. Now I just have this section and then we are done. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to do a flat twist going towards my face. Once again, you want to start at the very, very base to make sure that you have a uniform amount of definition. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for this section. I'm not going to have to separate it because it's not as thick on this side. I'm just going to do several more individual twists like I did here. And I will come back on and show you guys my hair completely finished and twisted. Okay, we are done. These are all the twists. It's definitely a lot of twists and takes a lot more time than my previous twist out, but the results are definitely worth it. You have much more definition. It lasts a lot longer. You don't have as much frizz. You don't have to do as much separating. So this is it. So basically I'm just gonna stay at home because can't go anywhere and let my hair air dry. Tonight I will I'll put a silk scarf on my head that allows the hair to still be out, you know, like how you kind of tie it in a triangle. So I'll sleep with that on my hair so that it'll just kind of neaten and smooth down the top and then allow it to dry as well. But this is it. You don't want to try to stretch it. You don't want to try to tie it up. You don't want to do anything to your hair right now other than just leave it and let it sit and just air dry, because anything you try to do to manipulate it right now, whether it's putting a scarf on it or putting it in a ponytail or anything, is only gonna disturb the pattern that you have going with the twist because it's gonna stretch it and flatten it out. So like I said, I'm just gonna stay at home for the rest of the day, probably tomorrow too, and just allow the twist to dry, and then I will show you guys how it looks when I take it out. So my hair has been twisted for a few days, so now I'm gonna take it out. I've also kind of like stretched it. I think I've showed you guys in the past how I stretch it, but basically I can just have a jaw clip. I can either put it in a bun or I can just twist it like this. Put a jaw clip right here, like if I'm just going to be running errands or I'm going to take a shower, and that just kind of like stretches it out. I like to get the most length out of my hair because I do get a lot of shrinkage, so I just put some oil on my hands. And I made this twist a little bit smaller just because I'm not going to separate as much as I usually do, but because I did them smaller, I'm only going to separate it like once. A couple of them I might separate a little bit more. I think I noticed that when I separate it a lot, I tend to get more frizz, and I hate frizz. I know frizz is kind of like part of natural hair sometimes. Basically, just going to take all of these twists out. Like I said, I'm going to just separate it naturally. See, it's already like super defined. So I don't really want to mess with it too much, like a little bit at the end like that, and that's it. So like I said, I'm only going to do like a one separation on each piece as opposed to multiple separations. And because it's in smaller twists, it's already kind of like in the right size of separation, if that makes any sense. I always start from the back when I separate because my front pieces tend to not be as defined. I have like a very loose wavy texture in the front, so I like it to stay in as long as possible. You just want to make sure that you're really gentle with the twist in order to minimize the amount of frizz that you're going to get. So you really want to make sure just to let your hair naturally separate where it wants to go. Don't try to force any type of separation, because I think that's when you can cause some frizziness. And you'll see I'm just kind of like stretching it out a little bit as I undo the twist, just to kind of loosen up that twist. So these are the front sections for me that tend to be the least defined, which is why it's good to do it in a smaller twist, not too small because then I don't like how tight the curl is, but just kind of like a medium-sized twist, and then be very careful when you're taking it apart so that it keeps that definition. If you feel like any pieces that maybe are like too big of a chunk twisted together, then you can just like carefully undo it at the bottom. But for the most part, we're gonna leave it like this. See, normally I would go through and further separate, but like I said, number one, my hair gets bigger as it's out. Like as the day goes by, throughout the day it'll get bigger. And like I said, I normally get a lot of frizz, but keeping the separation to a minimum really allowed me to minimize how much frizz I normally get. I don't have my mirror in front of me, so I'm kind of just using my monitor as my mirror. So I might be struggling a little bit to see what I'm doing. So now I'm just going to kind of gel my edges back a little bit, not too much, just because like I said, my edges are pretty much covered, but I just like to make sure that they're a little bit neat. I'm just going to use this. I've showed you guys this before in a previous video, just to scoop some gel out. This is hard not to do without a mirror.
And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on
In my previous videos, you'll see that I used to use a different scarf to kind of tie down my whole hair, but I feel like sometimes I can kind of flatten it, and the whole purpose is to keep as much definition as possible, especially in that front. It would kind of flatten out the front a little bit, so I found that just putting a scarf on my edges, which is exactly why I was tying it down, is more effective. So then I'm also just going to take this silky scrunchie, and I like to kind of just pull my hair back while I'm getting ready, just to further stretch out the curls even more. Okay, so I'm going to just take a few minutes, go do a couple other things, let my edges kind of sit a little bit so that they can set, and then I will come back and show you guys the rest. Okay, so I have let my hair sit for a little bit. I'm going to take the scrunchie out, and I'm just going to go through and make sure that, like I said before, there's no like pieces that are too chunked together. So normally I'd have some frizzing at the bottom, like at the ends or in the front, but because I kept the separating to a minimum, it just kept a lot of the definition. So next I'm just going to go through and kind of fluff it out and separate. This is really hard without a mirror. And separate it, or not separate it, and just kind of pick it up in the areas that I had it twisted so that you don't have like the parts and sections there. Once again, we're not going to do too much to it because we don't want any frizzing. So really it's all just about playing with it and making sure that you get it to the way that you want it to look. So I also just like to kind of like stretch it out a little bit. I mean, so this is pretty much it. Like I said, you just will continue just kind of messing with it, making sure it's the right shape and separation that you like. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this updated twist out video. I think this is probably like one of my most requested videos is a twist out, and I think I did one maybe like a year ago. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Show you guys. So yes, that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If you're not subscribed, why aren't you subscribed? Make sure you subscribe. I post videos very often, at least once a week. If you're not already following me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, make sure you are. It's at allmyloves2. If you guys follow me on Instagram, then you'll know whenever I post a video. You'll know whatever is going on in my life, little updates and everything. Yeah, so follow me. So that is it. That is my 2018 updated twist out routine. If you guys like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you know when I post a video. Make sure you share this video with anyone else who might be curious about having a twist out that has a lot of definition, has volume, and is nice and defined and will last. That is it. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.